All right, family, I am live and I am excited. A long evening on yesterday, Hillsborough County School Board meeting, and those that watched the meeting and those that packed the room on yesterday, you know that it was amazing. History was made in Hillsborough County. And let me tell you, I don't think I slept either. I have on with me the granddaughter of Aquilla Morgan, Aquilla J. Morgan, Latoya Lovett. Latoya, I know you have not rested as well. I
No, ma'am.
watched you live last night. I watched all of the posts. I watched all the congratulations. I watched the party in the school board meeting floor, and you guys did an organized, great, impressive
Thank you.
job. Sure
Thank
that
you.
the school and Wimauma is named
Thank you.
after your grandmother,
Yes,
Aquilla
ma'am.
Morgan. Tell us what
Yes,
that
ma'am.
was like.
Last night, there are
Yeah.
not enough words to describe it. I just had to remember, I kept reflecting on how she felt the first day she walked into Y Mama Elementary on March 4th, 1966, where she could have had fear and not stepped into that room, but holding on to her faith. And when I walked in that room and saw, because we arrived early, I said 3:30, we got there at 3. By the time I got there at 3, there was already about 40 people there in blue waiting on me saying, "We got your seats in the front row." I walked in and I thought about how Big Mama would say love is an action word. When you say you love somebody, you put that in action. And I saw that blue and I said, oh, these people, they love my Big Mama. They love me. Sitting in that room on that front row, and Miss Kennedy, that was a long board meeting. Long.
Yeah. I think it was what, 6 hours?
No, it was very wow. 74 speakers.
74.
I always say God send you signs. I was number 40. I was 40 years old when my grandmother passed away. So when I went to
Mm.
sign up, they said, it's not, I have number 40. I said, I'll take number 40. I wrote a speech out because I knew it was going to be only 2 minutes. Because I said, it's going to be a lot of people because this is the first high school to open in Mama for all students. There was a high school before, and I tell the story for only whites, but this is for all white, black, brown children. This school is going to open to 3,500 students, 14 different
30.
different cultures, nationalities. So, everybody wanted a piece of a high school because a high school is as high as it gets in your education before you have to start paying for it with your money for college, right? Schools, elementary, middle schools, and high schools should not be an option. That is it's mandatory. You can go off
Yes.
to college and choose to stay in college, but at elementary, middle school, and high school is the top, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
knew it was something because I had been before. I remember Dr. Albert and being there with her son, and it was just her and her husband and her son. I remember, 2022 being there with Miss York. I remember being there in 2020 with Bess, the neighborhood school. I remember. And I sat there and I said, I prayed about this thing because losing her just 2 years ago, this month will be 2 years. I knew how much your heart can take. And when you step into it to say, I know how much I can take, I have to remember me. Because I can only take care of me before I can take care of anybody else. I before you. Mind, heart, spirit first, right? I prayed about it in June. And I asked God to send me a sign. I kept saying, Lord, just send me a sign. And my good friend, Mashika Town, said, you want to do this? She asked me, you want to do it again for Big Mama? And I thought about Mashika text, thought about my mom, them, because being in front of people is so hard. Talking to people is so hard when you don't have it. And my grandma would be bold like that. And I said, I'm going to do it. I got this tonight. I went in there
Yes.
and that room was full. You could feel the tension in the room. You could feel it from, I want it for this person, I want it for that person, I want it for that person, but I wanted it for Why Mama. And I know
Yes.
that what my grandmother did for Wild Mama, she built where our that community was once, they just tolerated black folks. They just it wasn't for, she was the bridge of acceptance and them saying, we don't just talk, we accept y'all. We are family. And I
Yes.
looked and I saw Miss Prevet, one of the teachers from Wild Mama, who my grandmother worked with. She felt, because her family name, settlers. And I understand that. I respect history. Just amazing. Amazing. When I
Yes.
looked up and saw Kamitra coming in, everybody with these little white, we had got, my family was like, we need to have, if they don't wear blue, have something. And it was only supposed to be for the people that didn't have the blue. And I said, well, everybody gonna have on one, to order these little
Yes.
ribbons and say, I support the transformative teacher. To know that that community is every day is transforming, new neighborhoods, new houses, new developments, roads getting wider. For them to say, we're gonna remember the teacher who transformed this small community. When people weren't coming to Wild Mama, they were staying in
Correct.
Tampa.
Correct.
And I appreciate the board members, Dr. Hahn, Patty Rendon, Mr. Washington, and Jessica Vaughn, who was a swing vote. She's the deciding factor because it was 3 for Judge Salcinas. And I remember coming to 10 conversations and a gentleman joined and he sat back in his seat and he said, oh, that school for Wild Mama that's going to be named for Judge Salcinas. And I say, but I
Yes.
know a God. I said to myself, I know a God. And I
Yes.
put the judge, I put everybody before God. And I said, God, only you can, not me, only you can. And he did that. He did that
Yes.
for me, for me,
Yes.
for Wild
Yes.
Mama, for my family, for you. You're a part of history in Wild Mama. There are only in Hillsborough County, there are only 3 black schools, Miss Candy, high schools named for black people. That is something that we need to stand up, and it's hard. The last time a school was named for a black woman was 40 years ago, Blanche Armwood in 1984.
Yeah.
40,
Yeah.
that was 1984. 20 years before that was the Civil Rights Act being signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson. So
Correct.
64, all blacks could go to school with whites. 84 in Hillsborough County, we honor Miss Blanche Armwood. And then 2024, a high school in Wild Mama named for Aquilla Jackson Morgan, a black woman, because y'all see me, but a
Yeah.
transformative teacher. She didn't have to leave her classroom. She didn't have to chase money, moving here, moving there to survive. She was committed to
Yeah.
the outcome of children and not the income. She did it for the love for them, their families, to stay in that classroom on Hickman Street for 43 years. I
Wow.
appreciate them. Those 4 board members, I appreciate them. Even if where people may feel struggle, I appreciate them because they spoke to, I understand history, community. It's not about what it looks like today, but I'm trying to make sure that I honor somebody responsible for tomorrow. Tomorrow's tomorrow, not the popular vote. Mm,
Yes.
mm. So full,
Yes.
so full, so full.
Yes. I know you are. I know you are. For those that did not hear the story, because I had the privilege of hearing the story when your grandmother started out as
Hmm.
an educator. Um, could you tell us that story, because
Yes,
it was so important, and I mentioned this to you when I first met you, to tell the story, lay it
yes,
out.
ma'am. Yes,
You
ma'am.
just hear that,
Yes,
it
ma'am.
was no doubt for me.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. So, and when my grandmother was hired at it was transferring to Wimauma Elementary from Wimauma High School in 1966. She had the credentials to teach. When she was hired, she would start off in the library, then move her to a teacher's aide, even though she was hired to teach. When she finally
Mm,
got her classroom as a teacher, her classroom would be the only place that she would stay because she was not only the first Black employee and a teacher it was a place of refuge for her because everybody's hearts was not ready to change and accept
Yeah.
a Black employee at Wimauma Elementary. So she would pack her lunch, head to Hickman Street where Wimauma School is. And when she would arrive, be in her classroom. People would speak at her retirement how Miss Morgan always had lunch in her classroom. And me and my sister would speak about that to say, we wonder how Mama felt in those times. Being there as the first Black employee for 4 years by herself in 1966. That community, because of Miss Morgan, transformed. That more came where then my Aunt Carrie, all the different janitors were being hired and teachers driving out. Then Miss Claret started working at Mama before she flourished her wings and flew from different schools throughout the Southern County. But Miss Morgan, my grandmother, she stayed right there. And
Yes.
she wrote down in her story when I went before them, she said, I saw many big changes. So
Mm.
someone, and she was about, I think she might have been 78 to write. She didn't talk about what may have happened to her, but to say, I saw many big changes. That just did something to me to say, and these changes are going to be cemented in history for Hillsborough County and Wimauma so that when people move there and the neighborhoods come and transform the community, they'll see a teacher's name from Wimauma to say, to be able to talk about her story. People will have pride and be proud of that. So it is,
Absolutely.
and that was what it was for me about. I didn't want, and I told my family, I don't want it to be about her being a Black, because a lot of people don't know. My grandma, well, I'll tell it. She was an orphan raised by her great aunt. So she knew the value of education. When she
Yeah.
didn't have a mom and she lost her dad at a young age, she knew education. And from the church, teaching Sunday school, to then being a teacher. And she would say, I could teach everybody can learn something. You could teach everybody something. And her statement, if I can help somebody as I pass this way, that my living isn't in vain. When she would say that, it didn't register then because you think, yeah, I just give a little bit here, but anything with her words, with her actions, not just in your pocket, with her prayers. My cousin Roosevelt said, Toya, your prayers go further than your pocket sometimes. That's what she believed. If I could help somebody, as I could pass this way. I met a lady at Enterprise in Latina, tears down her face, talking about how my grandma, when they moved here, she was in second grade and she was in her class and she didn't know English. And Miss Morgan would give her goldfish and pretzels, right? And stay with her to teach her English. And I know
Wow.
my grandma was stern to say, I got goldfish and pretzels. So if I'm holding it, fish, food, you say, what is this to you? This is what it is to this. And to be patient with children. Nobody,
Yes.
and my cousin Annette said how, Spanish, when Spanish folks, the name Jesus is spelled Jesus, right? It looks like Jesus, and said that some of the people at Wild Mama, when they would see students named Jesus, they would say, can you believe his name is Jesus? And my grandma would say, no, it's pronounced Jesus. But if you gonna call him Jesus, he in the classroom with me too, with Jesus. And it just speaks to who she is and how she was as a God thought of so much of me to give me her, my family, the world, and I know she is in heaven. I know she walking proud today saying my Toya
Yes.
T said that she was going to do that for me. And
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Um,
Latoya, how many people did you actually have? Because I saw so many ribbons and I saw blue shirts. Um, how many people did you have in the meeting?
um, 27. I would say probably about 60, maybe close to 70, because I had 90 ribbons made. And I don't know how many I have back because they was handing them out. But I would say probably at least over 65 people. because if you've ever been to that building, we had the
Yes.
entire right side full. The entire seating section was all for Miss Morgan. It got to
Wow.
capacity. They wouldn't even let anyone come in until other people left out. So people were in line waiting to get in. And everyone who didn't get a ribbon who was there to support. They weren't, I got more if they wanted, the little bit I do have left. So it goes to show that I don't know how many seats on that side, but we had every seat packed out. They had 4 seats because the Glaciers family made a presentation to Hillsborough County last night. So they had 4 seats reserved for them. Once they made their presentation and left, 4 more of our folks were able to come in and sit down, and we were speckled through. But all of that blue, it had to be at
Yeah.
least 65, maybe. I mean, even they couldn't even get the picture right, Miss Candy, with so many of us last night. Like, you know how they
Wow.
say take the picture at the end? I mean, it was just blue everywhere. I was in the back. I was like, oh gosh, just try to get in. So they tried to do a picture with just my mom and my 2 aunts and my mom, my grandma only sister, who's now all of our matriarch, my aunt Rosetta. She and my cousin Annette, she like to say she my grandma favorite auntie. She my favorite cousin because my grandma got she has 4 other nieces with Annette, but she likes to say because she was her protege, right, her unofficial secretary. That they took a family picture because I mean it was blue everywhere and people surprised me, Mr. Jarvis. Surprised. She's talking about she on here talking about I am. He surprised me because I didn't he said he was gonna be able to make it. And I understand, because it was third. And I was like, wow, y'all are people of your word. You
Yeah.
are a woman of your word. He's a man of his word. Kamitra, a woman of word. That right there. Mm,
Yeah.
mm, 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 mm.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tanya Gay Jackson and Wimauma, when I went back because I had to go, because I live in Riverview. My mom lives in our family home in Wimauma. From day one, I went to her after they closed the vote. I went to a meeting on July the 12th, and she walked up to me and she shook my hand and said that she knew what I was doing for my grandma in history. She held my hand as an auntie, like, come on, I'm gonna help you, taking me from the different entities and why mama that she's partnered with getting the historic marker. Saying we don't want to be erased. You don't want us to drive through and say, well, they used to have black people. No, we still here. Look at what these black I'm just
Yeah.
man, you did that, Miss Candy. You did that, Miss Candy. You a part of that.
Yeah. I know when you call me out of the blue, and I mentioned to you about, coming to share it, the experience, uh, what you were trying to do, and that you had did it before.
Mhm.
Um, and come by tea and conversation and let the group know.
Mhm.
Because one thing I know, if it's a good cause, the majority of the people in the room will definitely get behind you. They will share it, they will comment, they will make phone calls as well. So I'm just grateful that you did come and you
Yes.
told me, well, I won't be able to make this tea and conversation, but I'll make the next one in 2 weeks. And you came that Saturday.
Mhm.
You didn't wait. You came
Mm-mm.
that Saturday to be with us.
And I'm
So
gonna
yeah,
say this: I didn't come by tea and conversations just one time. I came every time it was tea and conversations, except for the when we had the event for the expo. But I won't miss that because that was the first. I won't miss that honoree because I was committed to something with my daughter for months. But it is something to come by there and to stay there. Every time I came there, I met somebody different that heard her story. And the last time I went, Miss Cindy Stewart was there, the current clerk of Hillsborough County Clerks. I call her the people's clerk because she is
yeah,
for, everybody in Hillsborough County. She's the people's clerk, the things that she has done. And she heard it and she was just poured into me and just inspired me, charged me up That's somebody that you want to have a county job. You want to support them. I mean, that's the people's clerk. She's for the people of Tampa. She's for the people in Wimauma, Riverview, the people's clerk. So I am just so thankful. And people don't come and look at it because we be few in numbers, but we make a mighty impact. Because look at this. Look at this. Last night, having my family, because you got to be confident to have somebody had a restaurant open, Miss Candy. You know that on a Thursday night would come in with Miss Jackie.
Al's
Because that's
finger licking good,
what
soulful.
at Al's finger looking good soul food. My cousin Reese, she say this chicken good, this fish good. I say this where I be on second and fourth. To go and
Yeah,
tell, say with my mom, I said, Mama, I want to make sure when the people come out, we feed them because they've taken out their weekday to come with us. And I said, and I know the place where Miss Candy have tea and conversations. I said, they've been good to Miss Candy and I want to be good to them. And my mama said, well, talk to her and see, if we can get it done. And I said, my grandma's favorite food was fish and grits. As far as she done went up, she loved her some fish and grit, freshwater fish and grits.
yes,
And
yes.
it was such a privilege to just tell Miss Jackie in that restaurant, thank you. Thank you for letting us patronize your business because of Miss Candy Lowe. And I
Mm,
mean, you are somebody, Miss Candy. You hear me? To me, to the world, a light. Do you? Mm, yes.
um, thank you for that. Thank you for that. All I know is I got a call from a young lady that loved her grandmother
Mm-hmm.
and gave me a story of her grandmother and all of the wonderful things and some stumbling blocks that came in her way. And she pushed them over, shoved them down, stepped over them, and was able to accomplish great things. And all of the people that spoke on what your grandmother did for them, did
Mm-hmm.
to them, taught them, still kept in touch with them, even when they were not in school, they were grown. That is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
That is what it looks like. That is what an educator looked like. That loved children, that embrace children, that
Mm-hmm.
do not break children's spirits, that
Mm-hmm.
make sure that they keep in touch. I have an English teacher that from King High School that still keeps in touch with me. And the stories was just amazing. And I
Mm-hmm.
did listen to a number of the other people that was wanting their loved ones or their friends, family names on the school as well. But it was just for me. It was just
Mm-hmm.
a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
And a number of the other people, just like you did,
Mm-hmm.
um, they can try again.
Yes.
They can organize again.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe they'll take some of what you did
There'll be
because
a
you
tea and
did that.
conversations. There'll be a tea and conversations. Come on over to Big Al Soul Food. Come on over there with Miss Candy Love. And when I did this, I knew I had to go back in history, to find out about my grandma's work and her commitment to Hillsborough County. And my sister said, let's look in the paper because we couldn't find like a lot of articles. When she retired in 2008, her name was one of 8 names for the school on 46th Street. I think it was Trimble or Treble Elementary. To know that her name was before the board is just 8, and they stated that they got over 2,200 submissions or 2,200 votes. That
Wow.
speaks to her being from that generation because in 2008 is when a lot of these babies is going to graduate in 2025 were being born. And to cement her name from 2008 to 20 and 24, the effort never dies. END effort, hard
Yeah.
work. Mm.
Yeah. I'm gonna allow if anyone wants to call in and say something, they're welcome to do that. If anyone wants to call in, they're welcome to do do so if you were in the school board meeting on yesterday. If you are a relative, loved one, a student, just want to call in and say something to Latoya, that did so much work in the community to make sure that the school was named after her grandmother, which it will be. Um, I think they are, and I'm gonna have her to talk on the building of the school. I know she was out there last evening, did a video on it, and so we will wait until she comes back on. But if there's anyone would like to call in, they are welcome to do so. Tea and Conversation live with Latoya, and that's if anybody want to call in and say um, a couple words, they're welcome to dial in. We'll let that happen for about 30 minutes. And Ellen, my friend Ellen, is making a comment. And
Oh, she was so nice. So nice.
yes,
So nice. So
she's a
nice.
keeper.
Yes, she is. Yes, she
She is
is.
a conversation keeper.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Amazing, 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 amazing. They probably all at work, Miss Candy. I told them to have their AirPods and be listening and try to join, and they probably sitting at work. It's on the screen. Tanya said, "What's the number?"
Okay,
Tanya
let me
J.
put it.
Jackson.
Yes, yes. Okay. So that was quite a bit of students there as well that went to.
Students.
And one, yeah, one of
Students.
my, yeah,
You said one. Oh yeah, your friend. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
one of my co-workers, Sharnita West.
Hmm.
Um, her grandmother was her educator, and it was just
History.
yeah, such history. That is history that we can look up at the name when we pass by, or even if you Google wanted to know Black um, teachers that are names in the in Hillsborough County, your mom grandmother name will definitely uh, be on that page. If we
Hmm.
don't have any calls, it doesn't look like. I was hoping that she would call Toya.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Now, is Toya your relative?
Tanya, no man. Well, she's my new auntie. She's my aunt now. She grew up with my
Yeah.
mom them, but she's family now. I got she's part of my extended family.
Hey, Toya. Hello.
I am definitely a part of the extended family. Hello, hello, hello.
That's
Hey, how are
Tanya.
you?
It's a wonderful Friday and a wonderful feeling to be with you. Am I echoing?
Yes. Turn your volume down.
She watching the
Okay,
TV. She watching this and talking to you. She got to turn this off.
whoa.
Yeah, you're watching and you're talking to me at the same time. Don't watch me.
Oh my. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. All right, how about now?
That is perfect. What's your name?
The Lord, I have been so excited all morning long still. Just reeling from the amazing work that's been done. Latoya, you
Yes.
know you're my sweetie, but
Yes.
the ground that you broke, honey, is just starting up for new things to be planted. I am with you. I am for you. One of the things that I shared with someone last night is one particular hat that I remember as a young woman. It was pink and pearls and sequins that your grandmother wore. Not that she didn't have a plethora of amazing hats, but that one When I saw her coming, she was visiting Prospect that day. There was some big event, and they were there with my great aunt, Miss Willie Mae Davis, as well. But I knew right then, I said, you know what? Miss Morgan, as you say, is somebody. And today, we are we are so proud to be able to reach back and pull the folks that we stand on their shoulders up into the forefront. I am immensely proud of you.
Thank you.
I know that there's still good work to be done.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I know that you'll continue to do the work. And Candy Lowe, Miss Candy Lowe, you are our soul sister. You are welcome to Wimauma whenever you feel like it. But we certainly want to make sure that you come out for the 3-day event.
Absolutely.
But right now, I want to continue to just lift up Latoya. Yes. I prayed last night that you got a good night's sleep. I've toiled for you in prayer at night. I slept so long, I almost missed my doctor's appointment this morning. And I never sleep past 5 o'clock. I didn't wake up until 7. So I feel so warm and so good for you, honey. And I'm just immensely proud to be a Wimauman today. You hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for
much.
calling in.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for having me.
Bye-bye. We had another call. I'm going to see if they give us a call back. We're just so excited about all of the accomplishments and all of the comments, all the people. I just cannot say enough of that. Hello? Yes, ma'am. Are you calling in?
Yes, I'm calling in. My name is April Morgan.
Okay.
I am also the granddaughter / daughter of Aquilla Morgan, Latoya's sister.
My older sister.
Just want to be immensely proud of the charge that she led. And she really represented our big mama yesterday, because you've been throughout this whole journey. I am extremely proud. I know our family is proud, and I know Mom is looking down from heaven, and this is a win, not only for Wimauma, just us as a people in general.
Yes. Yes.
I can remember, because she had me since I was 3 days old. So I can remember the journey when the car would break down. She would walk to school. She wanted to be there for her children. I can remember her also, because her faith comes first, being there for her children, leaving school and an hour getting dressed, going to her church events. And so I'm just extremely proud, and I want to say, Miss Candy Lowe, thank you so much for your service to the community. And for helping us and giving my sister a platform.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for calling in. You all have a wonderful and continue. I told Latoya, I texted her late last night and then this morning as well. And she said she was on cloud 9. And I was telling her she can stay on that cloud as long as she like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ooh. That's my sister. She held my hand, Miss Candy, stand up 12:30. Get some rest. Stop writing this. Stop doing this. Stop. And just, I mean, her, my youngest, because I'm the middle child, and they took it. She said, you would be calling us 4 in the morning. Be like, girl, get some sleep. I'm like, no, I got to get this and do this and put this out and tell me this. And they proud of me, but I'm proud of them for the way they supported me, because most people don't succeed because the family don't support them. My family said, we ain't in the front, but we gonna hold up you back to back. And they put their backs and their hands on me and put me and said, we trust, they trusted me with this.
Yeah.
And it was unfinished business for me when my grandmother was living, because, the saying says you want to give them their flowers while they're here to smell them. And she was so proud of me in 2022. And I said, well, Mama, they say it's a high school coming. And she said, my God, a high school, and why, Mama? And I said, yeah, we gonna go again for why, Mama? And then we lost her just 9 months. It was that February, so 7 months later in that September 21st. And I woke up every day this past week, 4:47, 4:48, the time she passed, waking up to say, okay, do this, Toya, right? And I would wake up writing down things to say, okay, say this, and got up there, Miss Candy, talking about this is a part of my speech, and they didn't even read none of the speech I wrote down.
That happens to me. I understand. I want to say again, thank you for all of what you did. You
Thank you.
definitely did. You put in the time of making sure that everyone in Hillsborough County will know her name, and
Yes.
that is Aquilla J. Morgan High School in
Yes.
Wimauma. Now, let me
Aquilla
tell you,
Jackson Work.
that's right. Let me tell you, the whole entire Hills County that didn't know uh, that there was a town, a little city, a little section in Hillsborough County that's Wimauma.
Hmm.
Jarvis Alameda made sure we knew that last night.
Yes, he
Wimauma.
did. Why, Mama?
Yes, yes, and so many others made sure that we know the name and we will remember the name. If there's any
Yes.
last minute comments that you would like to say, you're welcome to do that as well.
Again, thank you, Miss Candy Lowe, from day one. Thank you, everybody. Tea and Conversations, family, community, Kamitra, Mr. Jarvis, who I met, Miss Ellen, who I met, our new public defender, um, Lisa McLean, who I met. Just their support, Mr. Paul, Miss Jackie, Robin, Bishop Michelle, Patty, just so many people who held my hand, my family, Tanya Gay Jackson, Kayla Jackson, why Mama Allison, Pamela, um, just my cousin Annie, my Pam, Jenny, Reed, Court, my let me tell you, my cousin Courtney, me and her the same age. For my cousin live in Parish and took the time off of her work day with her grandbaby and her children to drive to Hillsborough County after working. I don't know. Out of all the people in the room, it did something to me because we grew up as
Mm,
children together to know what I was fighting for her auntie Quilla and my big mama and to be there. That did something to me, So I'm
mm,
thankful for everyone to Hillsborough County Board. Thank you to Dr. Stacy Hahn. Thank you to Patty Rendon. Patty Rendon spoke about how she knows how communities are changing. She spoke about her history coming when she worked for an HIV child coming to Y Mama. She was about the community of Y Mama. So I thank her for staying true to what she remembered
mm,
Y Mama is today and how it is how it was yesterday and how it is today. Thank you to Mr. Shake Washington. Mr. Washington had that Florida. Thank you to the Florida Sentinel. Thank you
yes.
to for the Florida Sentinel. I want to call out her name. Hold on, because I've been texting her all morning long. So don't let me miss her name. Hold on. I gotta go to it because I just been everybody been calling. Hold on. Monique.
Is it Gwen?
A sweet light Monique. A bright light Monique.
Monique.
Monique. For her, I called her on a Friday. No, I called her on a Monday and she said she didn't do stories for the Sentinel. I was in the paper that Friday from talking to her about my grandmother. My aunt Rosetta, who done took on our noisy crew as a family, holding my hand. It's so many. My colleagues, I work for a very large health insurance company. And I told them, I'm working on something for my grandmother, and they stood behind me and supported me.
Wow.
So just the realm of just how far the reach is, even, my pastor out of his busy, he was supposed to be with his daughter and he was there for Mother Morgan. My cousin coming in all his credentials about his Aunt Quilla, my cousin William,
Mm,
and Dr. Barbara Wright.
yeah.
She was my first call because my
Wow.
grandmother, I remember her saying before, you should have called Barbara, because that's what she called. I don't call it. I call Auntie Barbara. And her and Dr. Wright worked together for the state of Florida with Progressive Missionary Education Convention. Raised up in it as junior women, young ladies. They still young. She's still young, but knowing that she's known my grandma almost her whole life. When I
Mm-hmm.
called her and told her what I wanted to do, I'll never forget. I said, well, I might be faced with challenges because I've done this before. And she said, that is apples to oranges. And she
Yes.
took charge of that, and she stood firm on her faith. We didn't look at anybody else. I told her what I needed, and she took that from me and said, I will take care of it. And, text her, and I text her, and she packed a bus of ladies to come down there about who Aquilla Jackson Morgan is was as an educator and as a woman. And like she said last night when she got done, she said, I approve this message to name this school after Aquilla Jackson Morgan.
Yes, she did. And she dropped the mic.
Then she dropped the mic. So I
Yes.
approve this message. And if I forgot anyone or missed anyone, charge my head, not my heart, because I'm so full. But thank you all, the village, because we got it done. This victory is not just for me, it's for all of you who supported me. And this is just the beginning. I'm not going to come through and do something like this and not be here. I will be at Tea and Conversations, Miss Candy, because I believe it's been around 19 years. I'm going to be here for year 20, and 20 is my maiden name. So the number 20 means something to me, right? So I will be here for you and for the community and for the children. April Cobb, who's phenomenal, just with what she's trying to do. I mean, my gosh, her and Kamitra, I wish they one of them get on the board. But, so I am just thankful. I'm excited. And more get high, more get high, more get high, more get high. So I am looking forward to brighter days for Wimauma and in this world to continue to be a light to help others. So thank you.
Yes. Yes. And yes. All right, family. Thank you so much for joining in. This was actually a special Tea and Conversation live with Latoya Lovett
Mm-hmm.
that did the work, and brought so many together in believing in, with faith, a
Mm-hmm.
new high school named Aquilla Jackson Morgan in
Oh,
Wimauma.
yes, ma'am. Oh, and one more thing. I'm sorry. Thank you, Miss Candy. Irvin Shell, Don Hampton, and Nicole Payne, who's running for our seat in District 4. She showed up last night for me.
Okay.
So I was so surprised to know that a person that's running has not even got office yet. Showed up for this little girl from Wild Mama hearing it. So thank you to them as well. I forgot their names. That's my uncle crew. But I want to make sure that I acknowledge because she didn't have to come. She was saying she was
Yes.
going to Clearwater and doing things, but she made her way to that building yesterday for me and what I'm doing. And I know she's gonna how she showed up for me, she gonna show up for Wild Mama, Ruskin, Apollo. She'll be there for us. So Nicole Payne, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much, everyone. If you could tag two friends, share it with your friends on your Facebook page, the amazing history that was made here in Hillsborough County on yesterday. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Transformative school for a transformative teacher. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We still live. Oh, we are. Thank you. I'm so happy. Thank you, Lord.